Hey guys, welcome to the next channel. So since the beginning, ever since the cloud storage concept have started, I was a bit skeptical about the overall, the entire migration towards something like offshore cloud storage. So the problem with the same is, hope you guys are aware, recently there's an entire leak of government Swiss data. So the problem with cloud storage is often people don't understand that they put various measures in terms of protecting the data. So it's just like you can imagine, like I kept all these things for a purpose. So you can imagine this is like a container. Of course it's a container and it is holding you can put inside a pen, pencil, whatever it is. So there is a specific way to access this things inside this container. So you can imagine this is what exactly it happens. You want to store anything in Google Drive. Initially you need to feed your credentials and then you get access, and then you start storing your files or accessing those files, and then again you will log out from the same access. So assume you are doing it in a in your laptop or a computer. So of course in a mobile phone it's a completely different case. So in case if you want to store something quite important and as well as sensitive, you should reconsider putting it in a sort of third-party cloud. It makes more sense in case if you build your own storage system, and then if you build also if your own private cloud, it is fine, but you have to think many times even before taking a decision like putting your important data in a third-party system. So oftentimes this is what happens. Eventually you are getting a specific way to access this data. In this case I need to slide this wooden ruler, which also serves as a purpose like a lid or a door to this container. So inside you can see here there are some couple of pens. So this is the way I can access a specific container in this case. So the same way you can think about this pill box. In this case what you have to do is you need to uncap and then you can access whatever inside. So in this the mechanism changes. So similarly I have a couple of examples. In this case I got a couple of mobile phone lithium-ion batteries and I'm storing in this container. So to access you can pull, you need to pull at least 3 or 4 tabs so that you can open like this, or else all the tabs and then you can open like this. So this is what exactly happens when you store your data. Eventually you can encrypt the same, and apart from that people don't realize that people kind of see one-dimensional view that you need to access this data. They just see that this is the access point, and then I need to do something like this, and then I need to put my data inside, and then I need to delete something, I need to reorganize the data, I just need to open the or else get authenticated, and then I access my data. So in this case, for example, you slide this lid down and then you can access whatever is inside us. So this is what they visualize. They don't understand the complication. Like it is end of the day, it is like a container. Even you can see an individual hard disk as such. There are multiple ways to access the data. If you are not doing this way, there's other ways to just remove the screws of the hard drive, and then you can just remove individual platters and then you can access the data on the same. So it doesn't restricts anymore. So it just happens on a trust basis. So the problem is when you kind of outsource or offload putting your important data on a third-party cloud, essentially you are just trusting that source, and then you are putting your important data over there. So it means you are trusting each and every employee of the company, and you are trusting their entire security system as such. So what happens, there's an employee, he may not have a specific access. In this case, say for example sliding this door, or in this case I got some money inside this bag. It's an old CD pouch. So in this case I need to access, it doesn't have any locks, I just need to remove and then I can access whatever inside access. So this is the way I can access this. So you don't need to do this to access. So if there is any employee who is psychologically ill, or he is not satisfied with the company, he can just take a knife and then he can cut it open and then he can pull the money out. So as simple as that. So there are multiple ways. This is how the psychology of a hacker works. So hacker never does something like which is something which is a specific written rule. So they don't need to waste time figuring out your passwords and your credentials and stuff like that. There is always some other way. There is nothing you can protect in the real world. There is nothing is safe in the real world, to be frank, because everything has a solution. Every time you get a problem, there is a solution already. So it's just the case that we don't know yet fully that how universe works. That doesn't mean there is some answer lying around for the same as for these kind of questions. So similarly, the hacker will think. And sometimes it doesn't need any hacker. It just be an employee, or it just takes any sort of lay person, and they can just get access to the data. So it all depends how they get access to the data. So don't imagine that you just put some data on the cloud, it is very reliable and it is going to be available, and then their job is to take regular backups of your data, or else put it across. In a case like you got some kind of a storage cluster, it will be just distributed and it is your data is going to be intact. So there are two things to consider. One is about the data reliability, the consistency of the data. So whatever you put inside, it should be consistent over the time. It should not happen a case like something like a bit rot or something like that. So there is one criteria. The other criteria is somebody should not steal your data end of the day. Okay, there are some measures how you can do some encrypted, you can encrypt these files and then you can put these files and then you can make it password protected. But these things gets complicated in case you have some kind of accounting system. You have an application. Let's take an example like something like Facebook or Twitter. So in that case, what happens is you can't have some kind of a file. Okay, end of the day you just make a tarball or a zip file and you encrypt this file and then you can just dump it somewhere. It doesn't work like that. It needs when you access Facebook or something, you just need to access anything out of random. So it's just not like one single file and it is a done deal. It doesn't happen that way. So you have to think all this options. So it's just not that you just subscribe to some cloud storage and then you just blindly trust the source that okay, they have so and so reputation, and then you just need to put your important data in the same. So it doesn't work at all. As the more people going to access this data anytime, and here is where the exact problem lies. In the case of the Swiss leak, the problem is it's a government data. Obviously there is going to be some staff which will have higher level of control. There is going to be some staff which they may not have that control to access the data, but at the same time they may have a partial control through which they can do either anything malicious stuff, either knowingly or unknowingly. So this is the problem lies. So you don't know this particular thing is accessible to which class of or kind of people. So it's just not accessing some data. It doesn't mean opening the zip. So this is what I mean to say in this video. It just doesn't work out that way. So it's not some container that okay, in this case I just open these 3 tabs and then I take this lid out and then I can access whatever is inside. So it doesn't work that way. So you have to understand this is the sort of complication. So you should if you are a small medium you are like an SMB or something like that, you have to also consider sometimes keeping your data within yourself. You can have in case if you have a couple of branch offices, you can also have some kind of off-site data storage, and sometimes you don't ever need to connect these things online. This is also one problem I see, that every time they say that something is getting hacked, okay, the virus is spreading across the internet. Why do you need to keep your NAS servers connected to the internet? I don't really understand what is the purpose of it. Yes, you can provide a VPN access, but it is still more important. Why do you need even that? It's like that. So I don't know why people get issues like this, because so the reason why I'm shooting this video is I have seen my own customers or my clients who have some similar issues. Either their data is getting corrupt, or else it is getting stolen, or else it is getting breached, and things like that. The problem is they kind of trust excessively the third-party cloud storage providers. You should understand it's just like your banking system as such. So if you are a follower of Robert Kiyosaki, you know that he always talks against the government finance policies, and as well as the entire banking system. Even he pulls the legs of Federal Reserve and stuff like that. So this is the truth end of the day. So there's nothing like you need to trust just because they are in the business, and then you can put your important data in some other's hands and then just trust everything is going to be right. So it is not actually. End of the day, either you are someday, one fine day, something happens because of somebody's mistake. End of the day, you may get you may lose your data by getting your files corrupted, or else your data may get leaked, and somebody may be smart enough so that they can figure it out how to crack your encrypted data and stuff like that. So end of the day, it makes more sense to create islands of storage servers. What I mean is create an island of storage servers so that it is not necessarily always connected to the internet. It is not even necessarily always connected to your common office. It's just putting firewall across, or putting some putting some IDS and IPS devices doesn't work as such. It's just bullshit as such. Don't tell by configuring some specific rules in a UTM or some specialized firewall is going to protect your data and all that crap. So end of the day, even these missions can be breached. In case if they are breached, then what is your line of defense? So it really, you need a physical separation. Don't need to kind of expose that internal network, a secure internal network, to the unsecured complete public internet, or else a sort of partially secured your office local area network. So hope this video helps you. So we are all new still in terms of using various cloud services. There are two components in this case. One is about how do you deploy a cloud infrastructure. The other part is how users can use this existing cloud services. So other than we use them in everyday level applications like Facebook or YouTube and things like that, there are other places you really need to reconsider where exactly it works out. And this is what each time and time it happens. Suddenly something will come and it will become popular. Say for example, let's take fidget spinners. Now everyone is so crazy. I'm not sure why they are so crazy about fidget spinners. When I was a kid, I used to play with ball bearings. My dad used to bring from the factory. I used to play. Yes, I used to fidget around, but I don't even know that it can be turned into some kind of fidget spinner, which is essentially nothing but just a bearing with few things around us, so or encapsulated in a plastic stuff. So it's just things like that. Okay, initially when we started, when the networking technology evolved, people used to have software based network appliances, and then it has become into complete hardware FPGA based dedicated networking devices, switch cores, routing cores and stuff like that. And then now again we are moving back to the old era of putting a software based VNFs inside VMs as a part of VMs in SDN and stuff like that. So this is what is the transition it is as. So same thing, it is cloud is still new. You should understand your end of the day, it's just putting your money in a third party bank. Suddenly there is some crisis, it may be just something limited to the bank, or it can be anything related to the government, and they just don't give you money. Then what will happen as. So you just need end of the day money to support and sustain yourselves as. So these are the scenarios where large companies have their own other mechanisms in place to protect such a catastrophe. But consider yourself as a SMB in case if you are a small medium business, or else a SOHO user or a very small office, what you will do in such a case, in case something happens, okay, something is breached out, then what you will do as such. So it just doesn't make any sense that why they have leaked. Let's take example like Yahoo, why it has leaked, and it's just it just happened long ago, and maybe I feel everybody inside the company, the top management, may be aware of it. They just don't want to leak this information, because end of the day they need to sell their company to somebody else. So it thinks like that. So it's very strange. Such things do appear in the news, and sorry, they make huge headlines, and then they talk about data has been breached, and I don't understand why they need to expose such networks along with why they need to coexist just right after right next to your public network infrastructure. So this is what I was confused as. So things like this often they kind of glorify and show in Hollywood, but still you should understand it's just stupid that it's a kind of act of stupidity that you put such sensitive data in a sort of third-party cloud services. So often these days I see there are many companies who are doing just they are trusting a third-party hosting site or cloud storage vendor. I don't want to pull any vendors. I'm not pulling any names as such. I just have similar opinion with all the companies, let it be Google Drive, let it be Box or anything as such. So I don't have any grudge against these companies. It's okay, even I use Google Drive, it is okay to store certain things. Of course, if it comes to a question of maintaining some few very basic Excel sheets just to track my YouTube performance, like the views or stuff like that, or I need to store some I need to draw some architecture pictures for my website. I use Google Drive services. It is very good, and also I store some to-do documents in Google Drive, like let's say for example, how do you install VLC or VNC in Ubuntu, how do you configure any specific corner cases of QEMU, or bring up a VM, or taking a backup VM in QEMU, or things like that. So things like this I store in Google Drive. It is perfectly fine, but I really can't imagine storing anything apart from that, any important data in such services. I'm okay to pay money, but I feel yeah, let them have it in a secure data center, but still I feel it is not adequate, or I mean it is not going to solve anything. A determined hacker can hack and do anything, or else even an employee of Google, what if he just puts the information out in the internet and then he suicides as well? So where is the guarantee of your data end of the day? So end of the day, somebody should have credentials to see what is inside your data. They can't simply give credentials and make you only to access the data, and then they themselves cannot access the data. It is not going to happen as long as you don't you don't encrypt this file and then put it in Google Drive with some kind of weird encryption algorithm. So you have to really consider I was really mesmerized with the scale of things happened with respect to the Swiss data leaks and where it is heading towards. So thank you very much for watching this video. Stay tuned. Have a nice day. Bye bye.